This financial advisory firm built a 400-person seminar audience from scratch. And if you work in financial services and you have a business like this, then watch to the end of the video and I'll show you how you could implement a strategy like this in your business. Right. Let me share my screen and we are going to go through this specific case study and kind of understand, why and how they was able to do that, because that's quite a feat, right? It's quite an achievement that they have done there. Okay, so let's give them a brief run through here. So it's Clifton and Webb Wealth, their financial services, wealth management, location Bristol, UK, and they've got a team of 18. Okay, so Clifton and Webb were well-regarded IFA firm managing around £120 million in client assets. Pretty decent. Now, new client acquisition was almost entirely dependent on referrals, which is very common in the financial services business, right? They don't tend to do much marketing like that, but referrals is always good, right? And this is from existing clients and a network of accountants, solicitors, yada, yada, okay? The firm was healthy, but it was vulnerable, right? Too much growth concentrated in too few referral sources. Managing director Paul Clifton wanted a direct channel to prospective clients that didn't depend on intermediaries, which can be, it can fluctuate. But financial services content is notoriously dry, very true, and compliance requirements make the team nervous about social media. And you don't want to mess with compliance in that sector. Okay, so 400 plus seminar attendees built from YouTube alone. That is unbelievable. 34 million pounds in new AUM, assets under management from YouTube source clients. Okay, now people are thinking, how do you get clients for financial wealth and wealth management and financial advisory from YouTube? Well, people who are in or looking for those products are on YouTube. Like, most people have a YouTube account. Most. So just think of it like that. It's just normal people using it for whatever they want to watch. Okay. 2.x growth in direct inquiries. Great. 61% of new clients cite video in onboarding, meaning 61% of all those clients that they gain that attributed to that 34 million in assets under management cited a video in the onboarding process. And I'll show you how you can actually do that and have accurate details at the end. Okay, so what they did, they launched a series called The Wealth Conversation. Okay, now many people are doing podcasts, many people are, creating content, but these series that I keep talking about are strategies that businesses are doing today to actually captivate the audience. If you think YouTube is the biggest streaming platform, okay, bigger than Netflix, but what's Netflix good at? Netflix is good at hooking you in to watch 10, 20 episodes of your favorite show. So think of YouTube as similar, right? Each video is like an episode of something else. I'm doing it in this series here where I break down these case studies, right? It's a series, continuous flow of information and content, okay? Now, the other thing that they did on top of that, they did plain English explainers on topics clients actually worry about. So things like inheritance tax, very, very big topic in the UK at the moment. Pension drawdown, ISA strategies, okay? Protecting wealth in a divorce. These are all things people are concerned about, right? Now, compliance reviewed every script before filming because, like I said, in the financial services sector, as you know, being in that sector, more than likely, if you're watching this video, you know that compliance are very meticulous. They don't want anything to just go out there because it could damage them. It could cause in, fees. It could cause in, complaints. It could cause many, many things for your business that you don't want. Okay. And it says here that Paul hosted a quarterly live Q&A, right? And before I skip to that, the discipline forced the team to get genuinely good at explaining complex topics simply. I cannot skip that, all right? Because especially in these regulated fields, right, there's a lot of jargon, there's a lot of technical things that their desired clients might not necessarily understand or want to understand. They just want to know, how does it actually benefit them? How does it solve their problems? You got to think Bezos mindset, right? Customer first, customer, customer, customer. Obsess about the customer, obsess about the client, and you'll be fine, okay? So Paul hosted a quarterly live Q&A on YouTube. Very good strategy for this niche. Okay, taking unscripted questions from viewers, and this became the most watched content on the channel. Think about that. Just a guy having a conversation with potential clients became the most watched content on their channel. Why? Because it was organic. It was simple. It was just, hey, you got questions, we got the answers, let's go. And it's one of the straightforward, most easiest formats you could do on YouTube today. Okay, and use YouTube to fill their free annual financial planning seminar. Previously limited to 40 attendees by referral, now oversubscribed at 400. So you see, they've had to actually change their business model here because of the demand, the pent-up demand that came from the live Q&A. Because at the end of the Q&A, I'm sure they was just doing, hey, if you're interested in learning more about this, we actually do a seminar once a quarter, and you can click the link in the description and book your ticket, reserve your ticket, whatever. Okay, so that demand just skyrocketed from 40 all the way to 400, all because they was putting themselves in front of their potential clients on YouTube and doing a format that was simple, right? They didn't start to do scripted stuff because that wouldn't make sense, and compliance probably would have said no, right? So they just said, hey, Paul, you're just going to do Q&A, or whoever's going to do Q&A, and we're going to answer questions from people. So the results now, let's break this down. The metric, direct new client inquiries per month. Okay, before YouTube, it was only 4, not that many. 12 months in, boosted up to 11. Referral dependency, this is the percentage of new clients. Okay, before it was depending 91% on referrals. Okay, 12 months in, that came to 53%. So they was getting clients from other sources like the seminar. Annual seminar attendance 40, referral only. That was the only way people could actually attend, by someone referring them. 12 months in, YouTube driven, 400 plus people signing up for this seminar. That is powerful because it's just literally skyrocketed based off of the demand. And you're going to get the demand when you do one to many. If you're just banking on a referral for one person, it's not really going to cut the mustard, right? It's and again, 40 people is not that many people. Now, new assets under management per quarter. Before they was doing 4.2 million. With YouTube doing this, seminar model, right? And this Q&A model, should I say, he was already doing the seminar, but the Q&A model, 11.7 million per quarter, by the way, of assets under management. Now that's fantastic. That's great news for a business like this. And the average new client asset value went from 380,000 to 520,000. Not ridiculous amount, but quite a considerable amount of client asset value. So when I think about financial service companies, okay, I've worked in real estate before, I've worked in brokerage, I've worked in life insurance, commodities, different areas of the financial services sector. Okay, I studied with the Chartered Institute for Securities and Investment, and I've been to these seminars. I've been to them. I understand what they're like. They are very dry, they are very boring, but some of the time depends on the speaker or whatever. But the key thing is here is that you've got to speak to the potential client in a way that makes sense for them. And I love the fact that these guys just did simple Q&A, which doesn't take too much technical ability. It can be done quite often, and people are in the chat just answering questions. If you can read, which most people can in this sector very well, then you will do fine. So very simple strategy. So the breakthrough moment here was when they did a video titled "The Inheritance Tax Trap Most Families Don't See Coming." Okay, reached 67,000 views, almost entirely from people aged 55 to 70 searching for exactly that information. Now, it generated 34 direct consultation requests in 60 days, 19 became clients, and a combined assets under management from those 19 clients of £11.4 million. Okay, that is fantastic results. Now, as I said, if you have a business in the financial services, you know that certain things just cannot really work for you. However, if you think about these simple concepts and think of ways how you can still generate new business, but in a medium, in a format that makes sense for you, because many people need financial services. It is what the UK, I guess, runs on from a London city or City of London perspective, right? It's something that is paramount for this economy, okay, of the UK. Now, this can be applicable to other countries, US, wherever in Europe. It's the same thing. If you're doing these kind of conferences, which many financial services firms do, then the same principle applies. And you can have these type of breakout, you know, events happen if you actually make it make sense for your business. So Clifton and Webb added 34 million new assets under management attributable to YouTube leads in 12 months. Okay, direct inquiries nearly tripled. Referral dependency dropped from 91% to 53%, making the business significantly more resilient. And again, in these tricky times, it's war of the time of this recording in the Middle East, etc., still in Ukraine, Russia, right? The economy is very turbulent. Things can happen very quickly, and business sometimes is hard to come by. So you've got to be innovating. You've got to be thinking, okay, how can we still generate business? People still need these services, right? How can we actually get in front of more people and drive new business into the company? So these type of strategies make a lot of sense, and there's tons more. We also thinking, okay, well, how did they actually attribute that new assets under management to YouTube videos? How could you even track that? Well, it's a good question. The way how you can is using softwares like the ones that my company and I have developed, right? First party. This is essentially for YouTube enterprises. So all of the software that I've built is essentially enterprise software designed for creators, designed for entrepreneurs and businesses who operate on the internet. Okay, I'll have some internet element in their business. Now, a lot of traditional old businesses are actually moving towards YouTube and other platforms because they see that it's actually bringing in revenue. That's the reason why people are doing it. They can see that, hey, look, if I actually use YouTube and if I actually have content, then people can find my content and they can actually contact me, which is great. But, I've taken it a step further where you don't want people to just be filling in a form and you don't know where they come from to attribute those revenue sources, right? So first party, we can show you how you can plug that into your business, make sure that you're tracking all of the necessary leads, the necessary videos, any content that you're putting out there basically, and you can actually see what is performing well. You can start to build an audience. So that 400-person seminar, you need some infrastructure to actually take on all of that demand, okay? Because once you get all of that data, then the thing is, okay, how do I read the data? And that's essentially what first party does. It basically is a complete content engine that can help you manage all of those things. So if you do want to hear more about that and how it can be beneficial and have a similar case study like this one, then just click the link in the bio, book a demo call. I'll sit on the call with you myself and I'll walk you through it and see how it could be applicable potentially to your business. There's a few questions to fill out just to see, if it could be a fit for you depending on where you're at. But again, if you're a financial services firm, you'll be more than fine and more than qualified for this particular software from a revenue standpoint. So I hope that video was helpful. I'm going to be doing more like this. So feel free to subscribe, click the link in the bio, and book a demo call. And I'll speak to you on the next one. Bye-bye.